Have you ever wondered why different mod packs have different recipes? So here's Grampy Jag. You're not seeing me today because I'm actually doing some mod pack development work. I'm going to teach Bobby a little bit about how to use things like crafttweaker, which I think he'll get a kick out of when he sees what he can do with it. So what I am doing, I've already set one up. It's called Bobby Training, and it's got all the goodies in it. But I'm going to show you how to set up a mod pack instance, a mod pack framework, if you will. Bobby already knows how to do this, but many of you might not. So you go into CurseForge, and you can do it a lot of other ways, but this is just the way I've been doing it because it's easiest. You go into CurseForge, you hit Create. You give it a profile name, and we're going to call it something. Something. We're going to pick 1.12.2, the golden best version ever. Yeah, you're never going to hear me stop saying that. We're going to keep it forged. We don't need all this other garbage. This is just trash. Now, the one thing I'm going to do different, see, you've got a number of different types of forge. Right now, they're recommending 2859. I'm going to go with 2854, simply because I know this particular version of Forge works with the current particular version of rock hounding. Rock hounding is very particular about the forge that it has yeah. You're going to have to play with that and figure out which forge it plays well with. This is the thing about setting up mod packs. Not everything plays well together. So you're going to have to do a little testing. So we're going to create it. Boom, boom, boom. And you see it's going to say add more content because you have no content. And one of the first things everybody needs to put in is JEI. JEI makes finding recipes, working with recipes so much easier. And with that, we are going to jump out of something, and we're going to go over to the one I've already set up. So this is Bobby Training, and they all have this until you upload them with an icon and such. That's a whole nother sack of potatoes. So we're going to hit, we didn't want to hit play. Don't play. Yeah, it's a quick loader because there's nothing in it. We don't want to hit play. We want to hit, I thought I gave you an option there. Oh, there it is. View profile, I think is the one we need. Yeah. So this is our profile. And these are all the things I have in here. Some of these are performance-based. Some of these are tweaking. Some of these just have extra interesting stuff. And some of them are advanced. So the first thing we've got, the additions mod, and you want the one with the plus plus. There's a couple of different things called additions, not additions mod. And you have to be very specific when you're typing in the things when you're searching for more content, because if you don't have it right, it won't come up. If it doesn't come up the first time, take the space out. If it doesn't come up the second time, drop the mod. Something like that. See how better FPS is an entire word? I would have put better FPS if it doesn't bring it up. And sometimes it will, but if it doesn't, take out the space. Keep looking. Try different things. Try just FPS. Don't know why. Sometimes stuff like that works. So, Additions mod is a mod that lets you basically create items and blocks to an extent. It's a little limited in some ways. It's not in others. It's how I have managed to get things that have been taken out of CurseForge, taken out of Minecraft, that I use for items to fabricate things that have been taken out. They're gone. I can't use them anymore, but I can recreate them with the additions mod. I have a whole video already done on the last time I used additions mod, and again, follows a very specific format. You have to follow the format. If you don't, it won't work. So I mentioned there are a couple of performance things. If you don't have Optifine. If you don't have Optifine doesn't work with your system, your version, whatever it is, because again, little hinky. Sometimes it'll work with things, other times, depending on your launcher, it won't. Alternative is a combination of better FPS and foam fix. There's also a setting we will talk about in another video that Direwolf put in one of his videos. So we're probably going to link straight to his video and show you. But there is a setting when you start the game, you can go in and you can toggle it, and it will amazingly improve your FPS and performance. There are also a couple weird things like Cucumber Library. This is something that's used by something else. So when we downloaded whatever it was, it came with it. So yeah. And here's another one, MTL lib. That's another supporting mod or library or yeah, whatever. The main one we're probably going to be concerned with is Crafting Tweaks, and Crafting Tweaks has a lot of support for a lot of different mods, and a lot of different mods have built support for Crafting Tweaks system. It uses a script system, a scripting language called ZenScript, which is extremely like JavaScript. So if you know a little JavaScript, ZenScript should be easy for you. So Crafting Tweaks and CraftTweaker, these are probably the two biggies. They work very well together. Also, they dovetail in with extended crafting. There is a tool in extended crafting, and that's the entire reason this is in here. I don't care about the crafting grids. I don't care about the alternative crafting things. I want that wand that copies the recipe as a script. Because you can set up your recipe, you can copy it, you can paste it into the script file, and then make minor changes like whatever the output's supposed to be or how many of something is supposed to be in there. Very, very easy. Guidebook is in here just because you're going to need to make guidebooks at some point. It's not that hard. The formatting's the thing that's going to get you. And again, it follows a very specific process. If you don't follow the process, yeah, you're starting to get the picture. We're going to skip over immersive engineering, and we already talked about JEI. Loot overhaul. I haven't really utilized this. I don't have any personal direct information on loot overhaul, but it lets you change the loot tables of various creatures and found treasures. So if you want to add, I don't know, a bonus of a chest in a dungeon, and you want a random chance of 50 emeralds. Say you want a 1% chance that 50 emeralds are going to be in there. Loot overhaul will let you do things like that. ModTweaker is another one of these that dovetails in with CraftTweaker, Crafting Tweaks, Extending Crafting. They all work together. And then there's World Stripper. And World Stripper is a utility all off on its lonesome. I don't generally advise including World Stripper in your pack for the very reason that if the person realizes it's there and knows what the command is, they can take all the miscellaneous rock and dirt out of a chunk, and all that's left are the ores. and other neat items. Like if you got rock hounding, you can see what kind of rocks are in any particular type of chunk. Very useful to determine if, gee, we don't get yellorite when we put in these massive reactors from this massive reactor mod. I've had that happen a couple times, and it's a pain trying to get things to spawn that don't want to because there's a hidden conflict somewhere. And that's a whole nother hill of beans as well, is weeding out the conflicting things. To my knowledge, all of these still work together. So this is the basis of my mod development and things like creating the gated technology. I use soft gated technology. I have different items that are required to make another item that are required later on to make a more sophisticated item, and so on and so forth. And there are choke points where you need to find something that is either very rare, very difficult to get to, or massively pain in the backside to create. Once you can get past that hurdle, it opens up a whole bunch of other things. So there's a sense of accomplishment. Again, Dcraft is where this all takes place. So if you go check out Dcraft-Omicron, you'll get to see some of these things. If you're lucky, I will manage to go and do another update on Dcraft-Omicron as we progress towards what is going to be known as primum terrarum. Dcraft was the proof of concept. Primum terrarum is where we're going to start trying to do some real funky fun stuff. So, yeah, so this is what Bobby's getting. He'll also get some files. And let me just switch here. Go into Curse. I don't want mods. I don't want Dcraft-Omicron. Actually, I do want Dcraft-Omicron. That's probably the best one to show you. So, in this, you have all of these things. A lot of them are empty. They don't have a whole lot in there. Some do. The add-ons has my nuts and bolts definitions, which is right now wires, plates, things like that. There are config files, usually for each mod that's in the pack. These are worth digging through. There are a lot of settings you can alter if you really want to, and affects things like terrain, or sometimes terrain, ore generation, stone generation, trees, all manner of things. How much honey gets dropped, what have you. Crash reports as well, craft reports. Downloads, usually empty. Fonts, usually minimal. Library, don't mess with that. Local, I never touch it. Logs, they're there. I have not really had to worry about logs in a long time because I figured out a whole lot of stuff. But you can actually dig through and look at the log of when the game sets up to see where and what is causing a problem. Manifest JSON is something that the game requires, and that is created when you process and upload your mod pack to CurseForge. Has to have it. Have to have the mod list HTML. This guy gives you all the links to all the mods and puts you into compliance for using these mods. Most of these mods that are in the mod packs will say, hey, you can use it so long as you have a link back and people can check it out. So there's my link back. It's in here. I also tend to put it on my page when I build the mod pack. Then you have the mods. So when these are downloaded, they go into this folder. And they're all jar files. Do not de-jar these. They will not work. You'll make a mess out of things. Options ain't much. Now, patchouli books. This is where you typically... I thought that's where it was. Maybe it's someplace else. It's got to be in there, though. It's used for something by Patchouli, which is part of your guidebook setup. So you got to leave that in there. Resource packs are, of course, resource packs. And my favorite, as most of you probably know by now, is Glimmars Steampunk Texture Pack. This will not be shipped with the mod pack because Glimmer, he doesn't want that. He wants you to go download it yourself. So I have instructions in my guidebook on how to do that. I also have instructions generally on the page and in most things that I have to do with Glimmars. Tells you how and where to get it. And now it's easy because you can get it through CurseForge and just drop it in your resource folder. Saves are, of course, your saved games, and I've done a lot of different things throughout developing. Schematics are for the schematic mod that I have in here. And again, this basic tweaking setup isn't going to worry about it. We're not going to get to that for a while. And structures. Some things have structures. But the one that we're going to really look at is scripts. So, in order to make the changes, you have to create a script file. I have developed kind of a hierarchy. I have various mods, which I call my core mods. So there's like 5 of those, 5 to 7. If you go more than 5 to 7, you're going to run into problems because these are the ones you don't ever want to take out. Then you have secondary mods. If they conflict with something, you get to make a choice. Tertiary mods, hey, generally it's just there for flavor or a little extra something. If it conflicts with something, trash it. But as I was working with scripts, I started running into a problem of, okay, I modified that. Where the heck did I put it? So I have this broken out into basically levels. You have level 0, which is available at the beginning of the game. Level 1, after you take care of a couple things, you'll hit level 1. You notice there's a lot of level 1. Level 2, you have to do some quests of sorts. They're not really quests. You got to figure it out. And some of them are not very indicative. You can't find them. You got to really know your stuff. Level 3, we start getting into the higher tech. Level 4, we get into the really high tech. And level 5, we get into space and things like that. So it's first off broken out by basically tech level. And the first number orders it that way. Then it can be followed by a dash. So I want these to go and perform in a specific order because what happens here might get changed or modified down in here later, depending on what you want to do. It's just easier if you do things in a specific order. So these are kind of like universal. So rather than break it out so much by what type of mod it was, I broke it out more by what it was or the process. And there are a couple others in here like that. You got carbon cycle, chips and circuits, Those are a little bit different because I put everything basically in those that had anything to do with carbon. So charcoal, graphite, diamonds, you name it, carbon is in there. Chips and circuits, anything having to do with electronic chips and circuits, wound up in here. If it's a chip or a circuit, I know I can go straight to this and I can find it. However, some things are better off left by mod. So anything extra utilities is in extra utilities. And these are objects from extra utilities. These are not necessarily things made by or altered by extra utilities machines. So there's where you're at. This is the items that are actually found in the packs. So you've got forestry, specifically the thermionic machine. Immersive engineering is broken into several. You've got resources, which deals with, ores and the resultant things that you can create, power, multi-blocks, and anything else. Lightning craft, Minecraft, open blocks, blah, 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 blah. Extended crafting is several different types of crafting modes, so they each get their own. Rock hounding is broken into a number of different types of things. So you've got rock hounding chemistry, you have got the rock hounding profiling bench. You also have stone dressing, which is basically where you cut stone and create things like pillars and such. That actually didn't require much anything, so it didn't get its own. You also have coal, iron, and petrified wood, which again wasn't that big a deal. Most of that stuff is just in regular rock hounding rocks up here, and not in the more advanced stuff. Extreme Reactors got its own. Iron Jetpacks got its own. Vicecraft is leaving us. Support for Vicecraft is not looking good. They took out a lot of things I was using as components and simplified the pack, and I don't know that it's worth having in there. So there's a good shot Vicecraft may disappear. Advanced Rocketry, which is our space-based thing, which comes with its own version, AR-Tweaker, but I believe it's in here. Oh my God, where did it go? Ah, here it is. I skipped over it. Advanced Rocketry can also do things in XML files. So you may need to learn a little XML if you want to work with advanced rocketry, because some of the things you may want to do, you can't do with AR-Tweaker or CraftTweaker. You have to do it in the config file, in the XML files for the different machines. These are basically kind of backwards from these, so it's a little tricky. Oh my God, the new kitten is torturing my older cat. So yeah, that's a quick breakdown of what I've done in Dcraft, and hopefully what Bobby will do in Railroading Revolution. It took me a couple years to put this together. I'm going to try and walk him through some basic things, and I figured why not add you all with it. Probably a few of you out there are like clueless like I was and would be interested. This is my basic kit. There are more things out there, and I'm still learning. There's ways to change your splash screen. There's ways to add text. There's ways to add hints. You can add quests. You can do all manner of things just with mods. You don't need to know necessarily how to program. And a great way to figure out what you need to do, like if I wanted to do something in immersive engineering, say I wanted to change the output of the crusher, that big grindy unit that pulverizes things, and I don't know how to do it. I can't figure it out from the what they've got up on the crafttweaker website, because again, it's not the best. A lot of these things do not come with the best wikis or how-tos or anything. They expect you to be born with the knowledge, which is very frustrating. But if you know somebody who's gone and done something with immersive engineering, you can go through their script file, look at their code, and see how they did it. And chances are you can get it to work. And one of the ones that I like is Exoria by Davquist. Really, really good story type adventure mod pack. Really caught my attention, got me interested in trying to do something like Dquest. But there are others out there. Look for something that has a scripting file in it. And again, all you got to do is open these. I'm on a Mac, so it's pretty easy. I come down to where I have them. I can just put them in a regular thing. I don't have to use a hidden file like a PC does. I just come down in, I find, say, bounds. Does bounds have a script file? Yes, bounds has a script file. It's very minimal. There we go. We're not going to do that right now. We'll do that later. So this is what it looks like when you open it up. We are going to, and I use Sublime Text. We are going to where is my view? There it is. Syntax, JavaScript, and it will color code it. And looks like there are some issues here. It looks like bad code for some reason. I don't know why. Anyhow, this is what Chosen Architect set up when he did Bounce. See, there's your author, Chosen Architect, name of the thing. Initializes, and he's got it organized in the typical manner of basic CraftTweaker, removed items, and then added items, and then recipes, and yada, 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 yada. The order you do these is important. You don't want to put in a recipe and then remove the item, because that will wipe out your recipe. You want to remove the item to make sure it's clear there's no recipe, and then you can add it back. This is also good for just removing things so that they aren't in the pack. They'll still show in JEI probably, but there's another command for removing it from JEI. But this is how it basically works. It's recipes.remove, parenthesis, arrow bracket, the name of the mod that it comes from, colon, and then the name of the item. Okay. Some of them are fairly simple. Others require a different format, and that has to do with how the variables are set up, which is why we really like the wand that you get in extended crafting, because you can just drop all this stuff into a table to where you want it, and you can copy it with that thing and paste it in here, and it will put all those things out there for you. The one thing you really need to watch out for is fluids, because it will not get all the fluid information. You have to go in and get, what is it called, the NBT data. Fluids are a pain. Try to avoid fluids. But you can go in, and this is all the stuff he did, and all you got to do, we've got recipes, add shaped. So these are basic crafting table things. Add shapeless. That means it doesn't matter what order they're in or where they're located in the table, it will make it regardless. Doing something with chest change, remove. Oh, he's removing custom chests, it looks like, and putting new recipes in. Vanilla furnace fixes, things he didn't like the furnaces doing, and things with diamonds that he didn't like, so he removed those, and then he re-adds different things. And this is quite a huge file, and there's only so many lines you can do. Oh, here's one of the more advanced ones. Better with mods, grinder build setup, build recipe, and then it tells you the different parts. And it looks like there's a couple of different lines, maybe. Oh, you probably have different inputs. Okay. And then set the grind type, entity, generic, explode. So apparently if you do this, it goes boom, maybe, I guess. Or it creates whatever that is, that effect. Hard to tell without looking at some of this stuff in more detail in the crafttweaker information. But most of this is very basic. He didn't get anywhere near into some of the stuff. It's just extensive what he did. But yeah, so that's how you can, those are a couple of tricks for how you can do things. Go back in. Oh, and I started setting up a little base so that we have a little peace and quiet. I do a lot of this in creative mode. I have cheats on so I can switch back, and we're back in 1.12.2, so all you gotta do is go game mode 1 or 0, and it'll switch you back between survival and creative. You don't have to do this whole type everything out like you do in the modern versions. So, like I say, love 1.12.2. Give it a minute to load. It goes pretty fast because there's not much in there. Zoom, zoom, zoom. There we go, and we're almost done. Shazam. Can I say Shazam? Am I going to get copyright claimed? Don't know. Not talking about the character, just the expression Shazam, like Geronimo. Yeah, I'm going to get hate mail on that too. Sorry I talked about an Indian. Grow up. Get over yourselves. Oh, we don't want multiplayer. Cancel. Hit the right button. Here we go. So, Bobby's Learning World. All right. So, this is my basic little starting thing. And I got really lucky because I had sheep. So, is it dark? Yes, it's dark. So now we've reset our spawn point. Yay, that's the next thing. I like having a door with a window so that you can see whether or not it's getting light out. I came out a little early. Fortunately, not much and nothing hiding under the trees here. I still don't have the trees knocked down. This is very early. But this is my basic little thing. I got my light. I got a door. I can hide down here so they can't see me and they can't get to me. And with a little bit more furnishing, this will be perfect. I'll switch over into creative and then I can start making new recipes and things and start coding. So again, been great talking to you. Again, Grampy Jag, y'all have fun. Hope Bobby learns a lot. Hope you see some results in the next coming year in Railroading Revolution. So keep up. He keeps updating it. Have fun. Bye. Well, I think next time we'll actually look at writing some actual scripts. See you then.